what's going on, guys? It's been a minute since I've been able to make a video. So today we're finally heading to the dyno again. We went to the dyno previously, and I had the, what I like to call the V2 turbo kit made on the dyno, and it just didn't really do what I wanted it to do. And I think majority of that was all design flaws, so that was totally my fault. But this time we changed some things up. We got a brand new turbo. We have a Garrett G35-900 and a new design, basically inspired from EPF Tuning's, you know, like manifold design. I copied that. Now I asked him questions and stuff about it, so he knows about it. Basically, I got his blessing to do so, as long as I don't, you know, sell to the public or anything like that. But besides that, it has been a very long journey with this turbo kit, and I'm really hoping today I can finally taste the fruits of my labor. Now, I have driven the car on the street with its old tune on the smaller turbo, and you know, I have the new turbo on there now. I have the G35 on there, and it freaking rips. Like, I haven't floored it yet because, for one, I'm terrified, and it just did not get traction at all whatsoever. And also, I really don't want to blow it up. So today will be the first day that I will be hearing it for the first time, like, just ripping. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. If I had to be honest, I am pretty nervous about the welds more than I am about anything else. And it's always been that way. Same thing with the first design. I was really nervous about the welds and not the engine. But I know Ben's this isn't really relevant, but I know Ben is an amazing tuner, so I'm not worried about the motor whatsoever. It's just the welds. So if everything goes well today, I'm going to be super excited. The power goal is mid 500. If it makes, you know, if it gets really close to there, around there, then that's fine. I will be on some type of restrictions when it comes to boost pressure, because unfortunately I dropped the ball and I need to stop doing this. But I tend to wait until the last second to like start installing parts, and sometimes those parts need extra parts, and sometimes those parts that need extra parts, the parts aren't in stock anywhere, so I have to do a order. So I ordered them in hopes they will be here on time, which they are, but the dyno appointment is scheduled before these things can get here. So where I'm getting at is this boost controller I got, it doesn't have standard size threads for the barb fittings to fit into. It has metric, and there wasn't a single place near me that had metric barb fittings. So I spoke to Ben about this, and well, my only option is to run wastegate springs. I'm totally fine with that, because if, let's say, I got a total of, you know, 12-pound springs in there, if that's gonna net me my, you know, mid 500 horsepower, then that's fine. I don't think anything else needs to be changed, and I think it'll be the most reliable setup, because it's just wastegate spring pressure. So that's all I got. We're about 7 minutes away from the dyno. I got Deco on the back, can't really see him, and I'm just hoping for the best. Wish me luck. apologize for not making any videos in between explaining what's been going on at the dyno. I was kind of stressed because I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, I still got all those butterflies fluttering inside me because this is just an entire new experience, you know, from buying a supercharger kit that just bolts on to fabricating your own turbo kit. And I was just really nervous, not sure what's going to happen on every single pull. I was thinking of the worst. But regardless, the session is over. I'm home, and I'll spoil it a little bit, but I'm making this video as like a filler because, like I said, I could not focus enough to make the video while the car was on the dyno. But it did great, and doing the burnout, it had a lot of low-end torque. So the next video you're going to see is of, you know, me street driving it a little bit, messing around here and there, giving you guys some turbo noise, and then we're going to take it drifting out. His middle name is Augustus, but these don't get He's what, out of his middle name?
that's fine. Oh,
Like, he's probably the best guy here.
That's nice, thank you. Let's give him a round of applause for his birthday. He's a pro. You got an Instagram, anything like that, Twitter?
Yeah, I do have Instagram, TikTok. I have a social media card, but for TikTok, it's beyond_junior JR, and then for Instagram, it's Studio Boat Button. Dude, you're like a celebrity.
Whoa, dude.
Freaking awesome, dude. Yeah, baby. Wow, what an insane 72 hours. So now that the dust has finally settled along with my nerves calming down a little bit, I can finally give everyone a little summary on how the car feels and a little bit more. All right, so I'm just gonna be honest when I say this, but this car absolutely fucks hard. Like, I am at loss of words to describe how amazing this build has been. Like, the past 48 hours, I've done nothing but watch videos of this car just ripping and tearing. And I've always been that guy to watch videos of Turbo Z's drifting, doing pulls, you know, just Turbo Z stuff. And I've always wondered what it was like to have a similar build to my own. And now that I finally have this build, it just feels so surreal. Like, none of this feels real. And I think after today, it just now kind of hit me like a train. Like, this is my car, and I did all of it by myself. So anyway, I was happy to realize that this car treats third gear how a stock 370Z treats second gear. Like, I was around maybe 25 miles an hour in the infield, and I gave it like a light clutch kick because I wasn't sure if it was gonna bog down or not, but it just took it. Like, it did not care how fast or how slow you were going. It just took it like a champ, kept up in the revs, and I was able to just modulate throttle like it was nothing. It just didn't care. It was insane. But most importantly, this was my first time drifting this car, you know, completely fresh build, at a drift demo in front of hundreds of people. So I had no idea what was going to happen with the car, especially with my reputation with the, you know, Turbo Z's and stuff that I'm drifting. If you know, you know. But I'd also like to apologize. I am reading from the script, by the way. I'm just going to just kind of throw it out there. There was a lot I want to say, but I couldn't really remember it all, and I don't feel like taking 300 million takes on this video. But anyway, I'd like to apologize for not capturing the heat of the moment experiences. Basically, I get a little camera shy whenever I'm trying to vlog in front of people because I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not, you know, I'm just not well spoken enough to where I have the confidence to just pull up my phone and just vlog and have everything go according to plan in one cut. That's something I've never been able to do. I always gotta make little scripts so I can read, or something I can glance at to, like, you know, stay on track. Like, even right now, I'm kind of getting a little off rails with what I'm supposed to be saying. But other than that, at the end of the event, we all got interviewed, and I was really trying to record that, but I dropped the ball, and I had my helmet sitting on my car, my GoPro facing towards me, so that whenever it's my turn to be interviewed, I can go ahead and hit the record button. But I'm not saying I got stage fright, but I kind of forgot to hit the record button once the dude approached me. And so we were talking about, like, how long I've been drifting, what are my social medias, and it was really funny because, you know, for those who know where this channel originated from, I still hold on to that one particular name, good old BK Booty Crust from my Instagram. And so I was hoping someone had this filmed because it was really funny. But whenever he asked for my social medias, I had given the crowd a warning. I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you guys know my Instagram name is kind of inappropriate, but it's BK Booty Crust, and they all just laughed, and it was the best thing ever. That's the one reason why I don't want to change my Instagram name. Like, I've changed my YouTube name, my TikTok, all that stuff to just kind of add a little bit of professionalism in case something good comes my way. You know, I want to have just a little bit of professionalism, but I still want that same humor. I don't want that humor to go away, so that's why I keep the name. But besides that, oh my god, dude, the quick spool of the Garrett G35 900 paired with the VQ37 gives you similar results to a V8. Now, obviously, you can't match the performance or the low end torque or the response of a V8, but you can get close to it. And I like to say this is basically spot on. So you literally have power everywhere. Doesn't matter how low of RPM, doesn't matter how high of RPM, you got your power there. Depending on how low, it may take a split second or two to light up, but once it does, you're good to go. You know what, in matter of fact, the Garrett G35 900 creates Category 5 tornadoes. The Garrett G35 will suck and blow you to smithereens and have you coming back more. The Garrett G35 should come with a pilot's license before you purchase it, because why do I need a road legal F35? The Garrett G35 is a time machine. And matter of fact, Trump won. The Garrett G35 is the only antidepressant anyone needs. On a serious note, turbo VQs, they're getting a little bit more popular, but I still feel like, don't worry about that. They're getting popular, but they're still a little slept on. And I just don't know why. Like, it is an incredible platform. The motors are really cheap, so if anything were to go wrong, it's only like $1,000 to, replace a motor, and you don't gotta build it. You just pull out a blown up VQ, throw in another one, and you're good to go. And I know these motors get a bad rep too, because they're in G37s and stuff that are normally in takeovers, and they do sound kind of bad. I'm not gonna be honest, but one thing that always made me want to boost my 370Z was the sound. Now, even whenever you supercharge it, it sounds different. It sounds strong. But the moment you throw a turbo on it, it is a completely different animal, and it sounds great. Like, if you want a good sounding 370Z or G37 or whatever it is that you got, throw a turbo on it. Problem solved. And you get power. So not only am I thrilled to experience a car like this, I'm also really excited to show it to everyone else, especially how I did it at the demo this weekend. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I've street driven it, I beat on it, and it was fast. Let other people drive it, and it didn't give me any problems for the 200 miles I've test driven it. So whenever I came up to the drift demo, I'll be honest, my confidence there was just a little higher than normal. I'm like, I've never experienced something like this before. And I went in, raw dogged it with no tools. Because I'm like, you know what? You ain't giving me no problems. I was a little wrong. The second lap, no, was it second lap or third lap? I think it was a third lap, because I only got like 5 laps in, or maybe 4. But regardless, I popped a boost coupler. It just popped off. No big deal. And I'm like, dang, dude, I don't have any tools here. So I'm about to get shown up by Keith. I love being able to perform in front of an audience and stuff and have all eyes on me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna deny. I'm pretty sure anybody would love the same thing, as long as they're doing good. If you're doing bad, it's a completely different experience. But regardless, I was scrambling, trying to find someone that had tools, and Keith had his trailer locked, and his friend couldn't get access to the trailer to get my tools, and Keith was busy doing his thing. I'm not gonna, beg him, like, please, bro, please, just unlock your trailer real quick so I can borrow your 10 mil. I'm not gonna bother him. We're all there to put on the show, and we have limited time. So I was asking around, and then this dude with this like stacker, like nice trailer, like basically, I'm just gonna call him like the king of that track or whatever. I forgot what he was doing there, but he was doing something there. But regardless, I asked them if they had a 10 mil and an electric ratchet, and sure enough, they did. So the boost pipe that popped, I'll show you guys real quick actually, was in a pretty convenient area. So I was able to turn my wheel. Hopefully you guys can see it. Maybe not. Nope, got turned the other way. Hang on. Nah, I don't know if you guys can see it that well. But regardless, this boost pipe right here, it popped off, and some people came over. I had one guy hold on top of the boost pipe, and I was able to get everything back together and finish the run on a good note. Like, I drifted for almost 2 minutes and then did a little burnout at the end. Like, I put this car through its paces. I wanted it to fail just to get it over with, because, well, I'm not saying I had high, like, okay, so I had high expectations of this car. Like my confidence was up there after driving on the street, not having any problems. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, just blow up now and get over with. That's all. I'm not saying it's all I wanted, but that was my mindset at the time. But those first few laps I did was just insane. Just to experience the raw power that this thing is capable of. And I'm like, dude, I've been missing out. Like, I wish that I skipped the supercharger and just went straight turbo, because who knows where I would have been by now if I had just done that to begin with. But, you know, the supercharger, it was bolt on, it was really easy to do. Just throw it on, call it a day. You don't gotta set a wastegate, don't gotta deal with the boost controller. You just install it and forget it, and that's it. Oh man. So I guess the next thing I gotta do is show you guys underneath the car. All right, so I guess first we'll start with this cheap eBay intercooler I bought for like maybe 200 bucks. Fit the VQ, well, it fit the 370Z somewhat perfectly. I had a custom-made bash bar as well, so temporarily I had a zip tied, you know, on the bash bar, and then zip tie turned into kind of like permanent, but eventually I'll make mounts for it. So as we get underneath the car, this is what I have right here. This is my scavenge pump. I need that because the turbo hangs so low, and if I don't have it, then, well, it's not gonna be happy. It's just gonna blow smoke all over the place. So originally I had a, what's that thing called? The oil pan spacer, and it had, you know, tap fittings for the turbo drain and whatnot. But whenever I installed it, it was leaking like crazy, and I didn't like the fact that my oil pan was down more by maybe an inch or so. So I just removed it. I got a drill bit and a tap, and I managed to tap straight into my upper oil pan without removing the upper oil pan. I just removed here to make sure no metal shavings was, you know, trapped. Drilled a hole, and then, well, as you can see, this is kind of what happened. It works out pretty great. I am seeing, you know, some stuff, some sludge coming up over here, so I'll have to double check this and make sure it's tight and not loose or whatever. But anyway, besides that, got a Amazon special sandwich plate. Seems to be working pretty well. And then Bryce and I, we made a skid plate from some scrap aluminum I had laying around here. See, he was there. So then we'll come underneath the car, and you see thing right here. Thing that's responsible for all the magic. The good old Garrett G35 900. 100% worth every penny, no regrets. You know, I want to cheap out and save money on turbo kit, but man, that thing is, it does a job. So that's really cool. And I got these, am I missing a plug here? Wait a minute. No, okay, never mind. So wastegates are just, you know, Pulsar wastegates. Nothing fancy, V-band, everything, except the T4 flange. I mean, there's only so much I can really show you guys. Got a little turbo guard on there to keep some of the, you know, big items out, which kind of concerns me, because if I ever attend an event and there's a freaking, you know, tsunami going on, I won't be able to drive this car. So it is what it is. But then we have the straight pipe. That is okay. I mean, I kind of messed up a little bit. Remember Bryce was over, we discussed how we should probably route this exhaust. Now, I think Bryce was onto something, but I didn't really understand what he was saying. So he thought that I should, you know, angle this pipe over here and then angle the exhaust over here. For whatever reason, that just didn't really like connect in my brain. And I just did it this way. You know, here, let me, there you go. So I did it that way on accident because I'm really bad when it comes to like making measurements and stuff. But I did it this way on accident, and now it hangs so low it just scrapes and scrapes and scrapes. So eventually that's just gonna be worn off, and I'm probably just gonna end up running a turn down tip or something like that, just so that I don't have to deal with this scraping nearly as much. Because it seems like right here,
it doesn't really scrape as much. You know, I see that my clamp is getting ruined, so I should order a second clamp because I know that's gonna break pretty soon. But besides that, that's the exhaust setup underneath this car. And I got my, oh, you can't even see it because I got this plate on here, but I actually have a FDF rack relocation kit on here, which is doing pretty good so far. The one issue that I did have was whenever I originally installed it, I didn't know that I needed some type of like spacer. So I was forced to run like, I think it's negative Ackerman, and it makes the car drive really weird. So I forgot that I had that set up on here because it's been 10 months or so since I've driven the car, and yes, I know it's rusty. That's another story for another day. But I forgot that I had that set after I gave the good old NIG alignment, and the car, it drives fine. Oh, it doesn't really, oh, okay, it drives okay, but with this negative Ackerman, it's just hard to control in some areas. I can't really go into terms to explain that, but maybe a different video. So regardless, I got to get my other shims that will center this, and then hopefully I'll have my drivability back to where it should be so that this car will be nice and fast. But that's about all that I got for this thing. It has been an amazing car. I'll show you, I guess I can show you the engine bay as well. It's kind of like nasty up there, but I guess it's kind of nasty everywhere because, you know, I'm not a fabricator, I'm just a truck driver. Okay, so just a fair warning, I am a truck driver, not a fabricator at all. But here's some of the really bad aluminum work. I had a very hard time trying to get aluminum to weld properly, mainly because this is really cheap material from Amazon, and two, I couldn't really tell whenever it was actually welding or if I was burning a hole through the pipe. It all looked the same to me. I couldn't figure it out, and I know part of that reason is because I have like no light over there, so my only help was that little flashlight right there, and that was doing okay. It was better than nothing. So this is the engine bay, nothing fancy, intercooler, blah blah blah. Car does the job. I'm really happy with it. There is one concern though, and I don't know if it's just been this motor. I don't know if it's because it's been abused for several years, but coolant is disappearing, and I don't know where it's going. Like I did a pressure test with it. I did see it leaking a little bit from here, and you know, I repositioned the hose, repositioned the clamp, tightened it down pretty good, took it for a drive, came back, and I had to add another, I'll say like another cup of water into the coolant system. So I don't know where it's going. I don't know if my head gasket is slightly, you know, blown and it's just eating a little bit of coolant. I don't know. But I think this started after my big old burnout. Like, I've overheated this thing a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. But I think it started happening after the last street event last year. I don't know. But regardless, I'm just gonna keep drifting it and see what happens. Ideally, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hope it goes now so that I can just have a fresh motor put in it so that next year I won't have any problems if that's what it is. Or maybe coolant is just leaking from somewhere and it's dripping on the exhaust and it's just like immediately evaporating. Don't know, I'll figure it out. Let me know what you guys think about that. And another thing is my transmission is kind of on its way out too, I think. Going from second to third and third to fourth is extremely stiff. Like, for one, I know my synchros are basically gone from 2 to 3 because it grinds every time unless I granny shift it. So if the car wants to be competitive, you know, that's what I have the car built for. I got to get that fixed, so I'm just gonna have it rebuilt. So anyway, I know this outro has been super long. I was not planning on that because it's longer than the entire, you know, clips of me drifting and all that stuff. There wasn't a way to really go over everything like I wanted to in such a short amount of time. So gotta end it with a huge shout out to Ben from VPF Tuning. Like, if it wasn't for your help with this entire build, then obviously it wouldn't have happened. You know, I don't know anyone that would take time out their day, educate someone on how to weld, let alone copied their own turbo kit that they use to make money and stuff, and etc. So I really appreciate you willing to, you know, trust me with your knowledge, your secrets, and all that stuff to build my own kit. It's a skill set that I've always wanted to have, and to finally have proof of that is really nice. And also, doing the remote tune with Ecutech was also a new experience, and it has a lot of cool features that I never knew even existed, because, you know, if you guys know, I always mess with 300ZXs and I had outdated NIS tune. So if you know what NIS tune is, then you know it is nowhere near as advanced as Ecutech, and Ecutech was a complete game changer. Like, didn't need a laptop, just needed a phone that has Bluetooth, and that was it. So thank you, Ben. I appreciate all the help they've done for me. This car's great. I'm hoping you'll be able to kill a lot more tires this weekend. But also, I gotta give a huge shout out to Abba Motorworks for allowing me to use their dyno and use their time for them to get my car set up on the dyno. Like, you guys were also just as big of a part in this build as well. It takes a lot to have two shops, you know, come together and coordinate things with the possibility and hopes of helping one individual. Like, that is really wholesome, and I really appreciate you guys. You guys have been a huge help in my, you know, drifting career, or whatever you want to call it. And if I didn't have you guys, then I'd probably be a lost cause. And one more thing. I started this entire project with nothing more than hopes, wishes, and dreams that I will be able to complete it with no experience in TIG welding. And, well, it's nice to see that I'm able to, you know, taste the fruits of my labor. But I had my difficult moments, especially to where I wanted to quit, because the things I was doing, you know, just trying to learn how to weld and get things to fit, it just felt impossible, and sometimes I just couldn't get the hang of it. I was burning holes through pipes. I was getting, like when it comes to fitment, I was getting it so close, but I just couldn't get that right angle. I couldn't get it to connect flushly, whatever. I just couldn't make it work, and it took a lot of, well, trial and error. That's basically what it comes down to. But the main thing I told myself was, no one was born with this knowledge. They earn it. And I also said, it's either one day or day one. The choice is yours. So in other words, don't ponder over it too much. Just fucking do it.